with God looking down on this game. Get your popcorn ready. All for the gram. Listen, quarterbacks, just go in there and make it happen. How hard is that? I did it.
TV, we are headed to Dallas this week. It's the Commanders-Cowboys.
Yeah.
A big game.
Huge game.
New stadium in Dallas, right? You played in the old stadium a lot. The new one is this modern work of art.
Well, let me tell you about the old stadium. We played there one time in my entire career, 2007. And I remember the night before the game, Coach Belichick said, guys, we have 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be windy, nasty. Be prepared for a tough game. So I went in there to Phil Simms, and we had a production meeting. And Phil was like, Tommy, there's no wind. It's a canopy. The field's exposed, but there's no wind in that stadium. I played in that stadium forever. I go out on the field in pregame warmups, and of course, even though it's windy outside, there's nothing there. It was just Bill trying to spook us. So we go in there, undefeated Patriots versus undefeated Cowboys. Get your popcorn ready. It was Moss, T.O. So we went down there on a mission. Ended up balling out, won by 3 touchdowns. Welker had a huge game. Stallworth had a huge game. Moss had a huge game. And it continued on our journey for the rest of the season to an undefeated season. But the Cowboys, they ended up as the number 1 seed in the NFC. They ended up getting beat by the Giants in their first round playoff game. But it was an unbelievable game by us. And then it was the only time I got to play there. So we went back there for my first time in AT&T Stadium, in that beautiful stadium that Jerry built. It ended up being one of the biggest stadiums in the country and hosted a ton of great events. But I was very excited to go down there because you get to play in this huge stadium with a massive screen above. And we were trying to punt the ball to hit the screen in the pregame, but it was pretty fun. But the one thing that I remember about that, and this is kind of a controversial take, is the glare through the glass at the certain time of the day and certain time of the year was definitely in our eyes, which made it a little bit hard to play for. But the one thing that's insane, I got one of the greatest pictures from that game of us heading toward that end with the glass. One of the sickest pictures coming out with God looking down on this game, protected by my offensive line, standing in the shadow of my own goalpost. One of the sickest photos I ever remember from my playing days.
So can't see your receiver, but it's worth it for that photo. It's worth it for the gram, essentially, is what we're saying.
All for the gram.
You know what happened on that drive? Do you remember?
Yeah, I ended up throwing a pass to Gronk on the left sideline on Byron Jones. It was a back shoulder. He caught it to get us out of the shadow of our own goal line. And then we marched down the field and ended up scoring. I think, let me look at that. Dallas versus Patriots, 2015. You know, I know my football. All right, I was right. It was in the third quarter, backed up on our own 10-yard line, hit Gronk on Byron Jones, big gain down the sidelines. We ended up going down. It ended up being a 90-yard drive. It started as an 80-yard drive. We got a holding penalty, and we went down and scored and took a pretty significant lead in that game. The game didn't end up being that close, but it was a great win, and I think we're undefeated to that point in the season. Unfortunately, we lost Nate Solder to a torn bicep in that game, which crushed us.
It could have been.
We were unbelievable to that point. We finished that season 12-4. We were so good, 10-0 at one point. And then we ended up losing 4-6. Disappointing end of the 2015 season.
So your advice to quarterbacks when they're coming in, they got that glare on their face. Don't think about the negatives. Think about that photographer behind you.
That's all you got to think about. Think about what it's going to look like on that one photo, you standing in the end zone with the light shining through in the backdrop. Listen, quarterbacks, just go in there and make it happen. How hard is that? I did it.